Hey everyone, welcome to our April episode. Spring is right here, and if I just pause for a minute, like I could hear a lot of different bird sounds here, and the trees and the plants are in full bloom. The new leaves are out. நான் போன எபிசோட்லேயே சொன்ன மாதிரி கார்டனை பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் spring is a new beginning, and I'm excited to see what you have done for your spring gardening. Coming to this episode, I will quickly touch base on how my spring setup is going. April is considered a waiting game when it comes to Pacific Northwest gardening. March, you kind of get excited that spring is here. Finally, the winter is off. The gloomy days might go away, and all of that. And so you get excited. Start different plans. Start your bare roots. All of that you try to do in March. So what do you do in April? It's a good time you can actually focus on your fruit trees if you have one. So enna portha varaikum like March I typically get very busy with my seed starting and all of that, and setting up. All of that is going to take my whole March. So April I come out because the weather is also better, and I come out, take care of my bed setup, and like try to handle the fruit trees if there is need to it, and so on. So that's one thing for sure you could do in April. And the reason why we say April is a waiting game is this, right? Um, Typically, like in April, you have this temperature of up and down. At least in the year of Porto Rico, if you had noticed, like there would have been like about 10 days of like no rain, dry spell, like sometimes the temperature would have hit 60. Feels like summer, but not quite summer yet. A dip coming soon. So that's exactly why we say like we don't get too excited and get all the summer vegetables going when the temperature goes so down. You don't want to have like you don't want to lose your precious seedlings, or you don't want to have a stunted growth. So plan that accordingly and handle your April with caution. That's how I'll say. Yes, there's May is right around here, and in May you have like you can slowly start bringing your plants out, or you can slowly start putting your starters in ground and get your garden going. Today's episode, I'll also walk you through the apple trees I showed you in the Jan. So that's also, I'll give you an idea of how that has picked up and what I have to do in terms of training Gramadri. I'll have one. The second thing what I would like to show, as I told you, is like my spring gardening, and I'll just do a quick walkthrough of my garden bed. I'll also give you an update of how my winter sowing is going. There are some more new plants and some more new experiences I have with winter sowing. So I'll give you a quick peek into my cans. And in the episode, I'll also touch base on what do you do with your flower bulbs, like the tulips and daffodils are blooming or almost done with their blooming. So how do you want to handle them past your bloom? Now I'll just give you a quick walkthrough of that. So from a technique point of view, I'll also talk to you about something called a square foot gardening. A smaller space la vandu how can you maximize your growth and how can you maximize your produce growing garthukku vandu square foot is actually a very good technique you could follow. It's quite simple. It might feel overwhelming in the beginning. I'll try to like kind of give you tools that simplifies it for you, and that is something that will come in handy, and it will also like help you gradually build up your garden. So I'm excited to talk about the square foot gardening as a technique for this episode. When it comes to fruit trees, behind me is a pear tree. You see, this is full of bloom. So that's one thing I would definitely like focus, as I said, for my April maintenance. This is right now full of bloom. So I'll let for the bloom to settle, and then I'll watch out for how it goes, and maybe I'll do another round of spray. I already did a spray. So this is one thing I'll do, and probably like kind of trim some of the branches I don't want, or it is too hard for me to reach. I'll handle my fruit tree. So the next one with respect to fruit trees, just wanted to take a moment to show this. For some of you, this setup would have been familiar. Yeah, that was my espalier coverage. So this is what it looks like in spring. I did show pictures in my Jan episode. I did cover a couple of pictures on how does it look, but I thought I'll just walk through a real view of how do these trees look when it comes in spring. So, like that is my Asian pear, and I have started training few more against the fence, and then comes my apple, and I have like both. So there is apple. The one I have not trained, you see there is another one. It came out of a sucker, and that is growing up. I noticed it very late, so I'm going to let this fruit and flower and fruit this season, and then I will have to take a measure to go to the roots very carefully and cut this portion off. So this will be the portion where the sucker came in. This is from the apple tree, so I'll cut it and move it aside or treat this as a separate tree. That is another maintenance I will do. And again, in my apple side, I have some Rudbeckias, some hostas, and some columbines. Some peonies are all starting to show up. It looks bare at the moment. All you see from these teeny tiny greens are all the perennials starting to show up. One thing I am working on is this place will become a herb and fruit. So this whole area, once I see what's coming where, and then I will kind of intermingle that with some herbs. That's my plan, and I'm planning to go with perennial herbs. So for perennial planting, winter, either a fall planting or a spring planting with winter sowing will be a good one for you. So that's one thing you can look for and see what you could do in a springtime. So when it comes to spring bulb and maintenance, I'll quickly run through what I have in my garden. So these are all the daffodils. I intentionally did plant it in a line. The reason is, like, behind the daffodils there are blueberries. There is few more growing along with my blueberries. I'm working on a permaculture setup. I will cover about permaculture in one of the future episodes. Coming back to the spring bulb maintenance, this one is still like bright, so I'm going to leave it. Another example, if I have to look at this one, right? They're starting to fade away. So one thing you'll have to do for the spring bulbs is, once these bulbs start to fade away, you have to clip off the flowering stem and leave the rest green as is and let it die naturally. I know from a look point of view, you might feel like, okay, my tips are starting to brown, I will have to like cut it off அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி இருக்கும். But if the looks are not bothersome for you, leave the greens out. The reason is these bulbs are going to get the energy from the greens. So to perennialize the daffodils, do that. Let the greens out for some more time and let it die naturally. That's one thing you will have to take care of from the spring bulb point of view. I'll show you some more which is done blooming and what I will do. So basically, coming down here, I did plant some tulips in a container. I have a lot of money problems in my garden, so I just let it bloom in the container. And I also did some kind of a succession. So if you see, one set is almost done blooming. So this is the flowering stem I'll clip off, and that also means the next one is starting to come up, so that is going to show off. So either one, I'll leave it for another 3-4 days and then let the rain settle, and then like I'll kind of clip off the flowering stem. That's one thing you will have to take care in your flowering bulbs, spring bulbs. Here is another set that's coming up for me. These are like, this is going to go on for some more days because they started blooming late. Here is another combination of tulips I did. So these are the mid-season varieties, and this is the late season. So basically, like, the mid-season is still blooming and the late season will start opening up shortly. And in between, once that is done, I have the green smaller ones you have, those are the lantanas. That will start coming out soon. Once these all die back, that will start coming up for me, and I will clean up, disinfect my hummingbird feeder and start planting that will be my kind of one of the spring routine I will do for the flowers. There is a few more that's blooming. I just picked this as an example, so I'll just go quickly past my plants. So there is, like, I just mixed a set of colors and I did in containers. I had to do it in containers, like I said, for the bunnies. The bunnies did trouble my tulips big time, the ones that were on ground. So another good tip will be, like, plant it in groups rather than in lines. The ones are in lines are easy targets rather than the ones in groups. So try doing group planting when it comes to tulips. So here's a quick peek into some of my indoor started ones. It's right now spread across, so you wouldn't see the same setup. I moved my heat mats inside, I moved my lights inside, and so on. So this is just like a first level hardening off or ready for repotting. This one is all peppers ready to be repotted. So the next couple of days, that's what I'll be doing. Just move it into individual pots and grow it. So I have different types of peppers that's growing. Jalapenos, bell peppers, the budgie pepper, and then sweet long pepper. So that's one thing ready to be replanted. This is like a friend of mine gave me the hyacinth beans, avarekkai in Tamil. So she gave me that. That's ready to be replanted. And Gomfrena, Vadamalli in Tamil, that's ready. My lemon balm, the ones you saw as teeny sprouts, is all ready. I did start Gongra. I did not I just started. And there is few more that did not pick up much, so I will replant. And what else? The Malabar spinach, I already have one round. I'll show you. One round is hardening off. Asparagus, that's another one. Asparagus started from seeds. Asparagus, like, it's a perennial vegetable, but when you start from seed, you got to wait for 3 years to harvest. I'm just building my patch. So every year I keep starting a tray or two of asparagus. And this one is something interesting I'm trying this year. I'll see how that goes to tell you. This is the balloon vine or Mudakatan Kirai. I got it from Indian Plantain Seeds, and I was worried about its germination. As you see, there is like, it takes a lot of time to germinate. As you see, one is small and one is big, but it did, all of them grew. There's one more I saw it's starting to come up. So I did 6 of that. And my tomatoes, Indian tomatoes mainly. There are some chards and some more chilies I did start. So these are all my second stage plantings, except for the peppers. I'll start the repotting. So this is one batch. And then, like I said, the spring plantings, I already put it out. So here is my another set where I already did some replanting, and some I'm trying to do potting up. So there is statice, this one is statice, and sunflowers again. I need to take care of sunflower and move it to a bigger pot. And I did start few corn. I need to up my corn number. So I did start few. And these are the cluster beans I started. It's not like picking up much. It needs more heat, looks like. And Malabar spinach. So this is my next set. There is some marigolds out there. Here is a few more. I'm starting to harden off these in my mini greenhouse. If you look at it, this is a mini greenhouse. I just opened it up for the daytime. So this is one thing. I start indoors, grow it under a grow light, bring it to my sunroom, let that settle down, and then like move it pot up or on a need basis, and then move it to this and try to harden off here. So this one is tomatoes. This is not grown by me. My tomatoes were not picking up because I was keeping it in the sunroom all the time, and so it felt like stunted growth. So a friend of mine, Gayatri, she started her seedlings and shared this with me for the love of my gardening. Thank you, Gayatri. And here is the next set I did repot. So this one is Rich God. These are Rich Gods. The Loofah God here. So these is a batch of Rich, and then there is the Sesbania or Agati Kirai. That's one thing I'm growing. Malabar spinach. There is couple of chickadoos like the avarekkai types. So here they are. Hyacinth beans and runner beans. Some more corns. I'm going to start more corns, but runner beans. The big leaves you see are the runner beans. I'm going to it's ready to go out. And then there is few more marigolds. Marigolds I did indoor and also outdoor. So that's what you saw from a winter sowing side. And then loofahs. Yeah, the big ones are all loofahs and bottle gourds. So that's what you have here. That's one. And there is a few more sunflower. I just picked it out for repotting as much as possible. And here is the moringa. I did start from seeds. I just repotted and they need some cheer up for sure. So I will be adding more water and see how this stains. I'm intentionally keeping the moringas in my sunroom, not taking it indoor. Reason being, I want it to not fall off quickly in fall. So so far it didn't die and it did not have a stunted growth. And I do have few seedlings here. So I'm hoping the survival of the best is going to sustain in this pot. And so that's one thing. I just finished repotting a couple of them. If you see, this is a little bit struggling, so I have to strengthen its root. There's a couple like these that does good. So this is my moringa I did from seeds. The last episode, I think you would have seen moringa from me. So if you look at it, this is bottle gourd. Bottle gourd has really come up so well. Like this is a stage where you could also do a repotting of it. I did few more. I'll show you. These are my ridge gourds, and then I have few more plants. This is Malabar spinach that's sitting in, and then ridge gourd again. I just picked the other one, and I also did repotting of my loofah and bitter gourds. So the repotting indoor seed starting, especially if you start with like a flat trays, it is needed to repot so your plants have more root space to grow. As an example, in the bitter gourds, the moment I started repotting, it's starting to like really come up, and there are a couple I did hurt them when I plant. I'm just going to give this a little bit more chance to see if they can come up. The ridge gourds are also like coming up well. So I have my soil mixed here. The white ones you see here are the perlites. I added perlites, that way it gets enough drainage. So I have the soil mixed here for my repotting, and I'll be repotting depending on the variety. I'll be repotting them into like 4-inch long or short pots. My loofahs, I'm going to put them in these kind of a pots, and then like I let them sit on a tray, so it gets your it gets a good drainage as well. So this is what I was talking about, right? So this is my loofah, and if you look at it, it was late. It started getting root bound, and I did not water just so that it's easier for me to repot. So what I do, I gently tap the roots so the roots are not bound, and then I have the pot filled with my soil mix. I put it back, fill the soil, and water it. I'm going to keep it in up until like another 4-5 weeks. It's going to stay in, and then it will go on ground. But ground, this should be good enough. In the pot should be good enough. It can grow as big as it wants, but it will definitely have a good root space before it can get back to ground. So this is what it is. Of course, it needs more light, so it will definitely be in a sunny spot. So when it comes to repotting the beans plants, I would go with a peat pot like this. And beyond a stage, like beans do not like their roots to be disturbed. So all my beans and okra, when I start okra, I have not started okra yet, but all my beans and okra, mostly both of them, I would pot them up in the peat pot, and like directa I'll just plant this in the ground so I don't disturb the roots. So all my beans, I'll move it here. So this is the inside of my vegetable bed. This is in my middle tier. So I'll start with what I have in each one of it, right? As you see, my bed has got like green everywhere. That's one thing I need to work on. And bringing colors and flowers in my vegetable bread. Summer I've got it covered, but I think spring I need to focus a little bit more. That's one thing will be my next spring goal. Anyways, coming to this, what you see here are the strawberries. As you see, some strawberries have started flowering, and I also started adding asparagus in the same bed. So the thought process here is like asparagus will start giving me some summertime interest, and once it becomes a fern and a full growth, while strawberries continue to protect. So that's where it is. So these are the strawberries. I'm also adding additional strawberries in this bed. Strawberries typically try to like kind of wind down in 3-4 years. So some of the bigger plants you see, this will slowly start winding down. So I will continue to replant the runners, or I'll bring in additional berries and try to have a continuous growth. So that is my strawberry and asparagus. And then coming to this is my shallots. I did shallots last fall, so that is doing good. And I also started kale very recently. So these are the kales you're seeing. They are hardening off still. So I'll watch it how it goes, especially if the rain is helping them pick up, and then like try to up my nitrogen or something for it. extra greens. So that's one thing. This is my shallots and kale. The next bed you see is pretty much empty. The reason it is empty is like I also have to start carrots, number one, but as you see those tiny seedlings that you see, those are the radish. I typically tend to leave all my root vegetables like go to seed, and I'll collect the seeds and use it for the next season. Last season I couldn't come on time, and a storm or something that kind of toppled off my radishes, so they fell off here. So I'm going to let it grow a little bit more and then start thinning it out. So that is one thing. This bed is almost empty. I have a small patch of methi coming in. So these are all the methis. Methis can technically be sown any time for us. And this, I had to pull out a weed, so this patch is empty. So I'm doing like single square and then trying to get a succession here. So that is methi. And if you go a little bit closer, this is another bed, that another set of squares I have for my Brussels sprouts and kohlrabi mainly. And the kohlrabis are doing good. There is a couple of carrots that's starting to pop up. I would this might go to seed because it's a last year carrot, so I'll see how it grows and either use that towards my seed collection. And speaking of seeds, this is what I was talking about, right? So this is a radish. It's going to go to seed. If you look at it, that is starting to bolt. I'm going to let it flower. This is going to act as a pollinator as well as my seed source. I will start harvesting the greens and use the rest. I have couple that I left. Here is another one, and as you see, it did drop a lot of seeds and there are seedlings coming in. Let them mature and then I will start thinning them off. I'm also starting a little bit of cauliflowers, but this is a very recent start, so I don't expect a significant growth for the cauliflowers I did here. So this is another bed I'm trying to come up with, and I have started some arugula here, and it started sprouting. It's fairly like few days back. And I also have asparagus. I'm trying to move towards my strawberry, but these asparagus are ready. I also have few asparagus I started from seeds. And then towards the end, all you see are my peas. I did few more peas planting. That's coming up good. And the next one you see here is my garlic. So the garlic I've planted in fall. They are not ready yet. Garlic, when it's time for ready, the bottom 3 leaves have to become brown. So my garlic is like doing really good. I'm going to let it be here, and I just skip my peas just for the garlic space, and then I continue to grow my peas. And the next one, perennial ones I have, I meant to do a weeding on this pot, is the walking onions. So that's also coming good. I'm not harvesting yet because I have to first take care of the weeds surrounding the onions. So that's one thing happening. And towards the fence, I have some Shatsa daisy. I'm just moving it around, and so that occupies my fence space. So here is my setup. Next spring ones are my radish. I did a lot of radish and also some more vegetables, but I'll just start with the radish. Here are my radish. Again, I surrounded that with peas for my fencing. So the thought process here is like the peas will start climbing the fence, and then I can add a trellis on top. So these are my daikons. This, as I told you in one of my previous one, I don't stick on to the same vegetables. Last year I predominantly tried the cherry, so this time I'm doing the daikons. So that's going good. And I also did some fava. Remember the previous episodes? The fava is almost ready. Here is my fava. And a few more favas. Favas I'm interplanting again with my kohlrabis. There is few more kohlrabis I did plant here. And there is Brussels sprouts. So the next set I'm growing are the Brussels sprouts. So that's also going good. So only this much is the bed I prepared so far. And I will keep adding the bed slowly as and when I have more vegetables that I need to bring them out. The radish really is doing good. One thing what I will do little bit after little bit is once this grows, I will start harvesting the lowermost leaves. So the leaves grow taller and then the roots get most of the energy and it produces the bigger bulbs. That's one thing I have to do. And then for the piece, I will have to like set some trellis up. I'm starting to prepare and wind it through this metal hoops. If you notice, these are the ones I'm using as a first set. Let it go all around and then I will start a trellis on top. That's my plant. As you see, like some sticks are already settled in, and I'll just build the trellis on top of it. So this is my lower tier and I have few brassicas going in. I also have next set of fava started in between. Few are starting to come out and a set of succession planting. The next set of this area, I have to pick up a couple of tough weeds, but this area I'm preparing towards my beans and carrots maybe. This is one of my sunniest spots, so I will focus, I'm leaving this bed mainly for my summer vegetables. Or I would start with some of the greens which I can harvest quicker to suppress the weeds. So I was talking about onion, right? So this is what I'm referring to. This is a good pollinator and an ornament and a pest repellent, all of that. Onion serves a lot of purpose for me in the garden. I did start onions purely, these are the grocery onions that started sprouting. I came and planted it and then on I'm just letting it go to seed, flower and then seed. The flower is a fantastic early pollinator when it comes to bees. The bees love these flowers. When they wake up in spring, there might not be many they head on to. At least ennoda garden பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் the spring flowers are not there yet. So the onions serve as my primary pollinator. And in the bed பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் I try to go it with mostly edibles. That's also one of the reason I try to do with onion flowers, and I'm also doing some edible flowers. But you can see like I'm intending to do it also in the front yard if there is a need. I have couple of fruits I'm starting in the front yard, so I'll probably go with this towards my ornamental pollination / medicinal, whatever you want to call that as. So try out onion. It's one of a versatile crop. You can have it in the garden, just not for the bulbs but for anything else. You can start from green onions to flowers to seeds. All of that you could achieve from a simple grocery bought sprouted onion. So here is my winter sowing update. I will pick a couple of pots as usual and start talking about how my winter sowing experience has been. There are some of the plants I'm pleasantly surprised with how winter sowing helped me. I'm going to continue to go with winter sowing method only for those, but there is few you will be interested. I'll show you what they are. So as and when I started the indoor planting, I did try winter sowing method also. So this, as you see the name, this is long bottle gourd. All 4 I planted did germinate. I didn't do anything. Of course, a bigger seed, like I told you last time, I just did a paper towel germination method, but then on I didn't do much. You are able to see some true leaves. So this size is exactly the same as my indoor method. So that's one thing for sure. Gourd had been successful. I'll show you a few more there. Remember the first episode of winter sowing for hollyhocks? You can already see the greens. Last episode it only had few, but look at what you're seeing right now. There is like full plants out there. I'm going to wait for the rain to settle before I take it out, but hollyhocks are just started from seeds, kept it out, and it's doing amazingly good. You can see how the condensation had built, and the plants are also like lush green. It's not like lacking nutrients at all. So this is something that is successful. The next one that I tried are marigolds. Remember, if you remember, like couple of episodes back, I was showing like, okay, there is a couple of corner tiny seedlings that came out. Look at the plant now. I'm not opening this yet, but this is like a full-size plant if I have to buy from the store, or even bigger than that. All I had to do was put the seed again and put it in the soil, and this is also another good success. So sunflowers and marigolds will be 100% winter sowing for me, so I don't have to deal with them indoors. and I can afford to lose a plant or two, to be honest. That's why I'm going to do it this way. Since I mentioned about sunflower, I thought I'll start from here. It's already starting to come out, and here is my sunflower. The specific reason I took this can out of others are the roots. Do you see how the roots have successfully grown inside? This is ready to be replanted or at least potted up, so I'm going to do that as a next activity. I thought I'll just show you how this is doing. I will open the can and I would do the repotting sooner possible, but here is like this can is full of sunflowers. So this is another, I wouldn't call it crazy experiment given my confidence in winter sowing, but you might see. These are the tomatillos. I just put the seeds out and the plants are almost there to repot. So here is another example of a heat-loving vegetable. I'll show you the tomatoes next. So this is a tomato can. I just tried like very recently, and you see these tomatoes are there. There is definitely one radish inside. That's the clover shaped leaf you see, but here is my tomato. It has started getting true leaves. The good news here is these tomatoes will go in ground beginning May. I don't have to harden them off. So that's one thing. Like for a tomato, I just tried Roma and tomatillos, they are successful. So the other one, from a flower point of view, I did try aster. Just the aster, I just put again the same way, no germination, nothing. I just put it in. So the pink asters are also doing good. So this is something I am trying as a fall flower as well. So this is another from a flower point of view. I have few more. I just thought like I'll pick few examples that have gone good and try to show you how good they are. So I told you what worked in winter sowing. What did not work for me? The runner beans. The runner beans came so very well. I had to be out on a weekend and that dried up so quickly. Reason being, like it did have a lot of root built in, and so the roots did not have enough water. So if you are doing winter sowing and if you are headed out, try to kind of have a base and then like cover it with like do the underwatering like I said. So that is one thing for I did not have a good success with runner beans. The standard beans is already in ground. It did do well. Like I said last episode, it had good growth and it did harden off. So I put it in ground. It's not thriving, but it's still there in ground. So beans, the standard bush beans did work okay, but runner beans for sure I had a challenge, and it's coming up again, but I just pull the leaves off to get enough energy to the roots. So it's sitting in one of the pots. And the sunflowers are growing really fast, so I would definitely slow it down, but some of them I showed you that is ready to go, so that will go out faster. And tomatoes, I wasn't expecting tomatoes to do good, so but tomatoes did well. There are not all tomatoes that did well. So as an example, my beefsteak didn't do well, my Roma did, beefsteak didn't do well, and also the green zebras. The green zebra variety of tomatoes didn't do well. I don't know, it's still stalling with 2 leaves. So that's one thing. And the other one that did not do well, or maybe it is my overcrowding, is cabbages. Cabbages like grew very nice, but it still didn't flourish beyond a microgreen. The one I showed you in the ground, those were like I explicitly repotted it and did it, so that did well. So when it comes to cabbages, that's one thing you need to watch out for. I think pretty much from my overall experiment, that's what happened. I might do like, just from a trial perspective, I want to do okra to see how that goes, because okra is a little picky when it comes to our weather. It needs a lot of heat. So I'm going to give it a shot, but okra I would go with a milk can. I will not go with anything else. Corn, I'm going to start again to see how that does. So like I said, April could be a waiting time, but there could be some sometimes you might run out of indoor space, especially like if you have started too many seeds and wanted to like kind of do repeated ones, right? அந்த மாதிரி டயத்துல வந்து you could go with something called a season extenders. Season extender ஓட concept என்னன்னா வந்து it's like acts as a mini greenhouse. For those of you who do not have like a full-fledged greenhouse, but you still want to like kind of have an increased temperature and all of that. So this is something this is another one I'm using. It's called a mini greenhouse in Amazon. As you see, there is like a opening also. So rainwater ponumna, you can have this inside. And then like if you want to like protect against the nighttime lows, you just zip it up. So it acts like a greenhouse. It will not give you protection against your snow and others, but it will definitely give you a good heads up when it comes to transplanting into the garden, especially for heat loving vegetables. As an example, like tomatoes and peppers, right? Tomatoes and peppers, number one, you start way early indoor, and some of you might have like 2-inch seedling depending on how much temperature you maintain, and some of you might have a foot or two. So you have to, and since it has been pampered inside the house, you will have to slowly transfer them to the garden. So you have your seedlings indoor, and once the seedlings are like you think they are ready to come out, I follow Mother's Day strict guideline, and I also watch out plus or minus weeks based on how the weather pattern is. Sometimes I think this year I might run out of space, so that's what I will do. Is once this whole rain spell goes away, which is like about I'm talking about like a first week of May. I'll slowly bring the plants out, give them a good sunshine, especially on a sunny days. Give them a good sunshine, like start with an hour, then slowly increase it to 2 hours, and then like 4 hours, and then like start bringing them out gradually. And be attentive of that. So if you think your indoor seedlings are crowded, or if you want to like kind of get yourself out sooner, you can try this. And what I'm going to do is like I will pick 1 or 2 of each variety, keep the others inside, so like I kind of balance it out for any reason this doesn't work or something. So that's the approach I'm going to do. I'm going to bring couple of my tomatoes out and leave the rest inside, couple of my peppers out, eggplants out. That's my plan to use this, and I'll also be able to use the space effectively. The first time, because I have only one of it and I have to really make good use of it, the first time I'm going to use this, I will just have my seedlings in the pots, arrange all the pots inside so I can maximize the space. Once they are hardened off, I will quickly be able to transplant it. That's going to be my plan for a season extender. So in the episode a technique vandu, I thought I'll pick up square foot gardening and talk about it to you. Square foot gardening enna vandu, you divide your entire gardening into a square and try to plant the vegetables or whatever it is according to the square foot method. There is like, it's an involved concept, so I'm not going to go in depth for everything. There are good books out there that talks about square foot gardening, or there is also like enough YouTube videos you can refer to that on how to exactly plan your vegetable after vegetable. I'll touch base on it overall. So like I said, the concept is like plan your garden, divide it entire into multiple squares and plant accordingly. Planting a பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் I personally follow the square foot principles big time. Like execution பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் வந்து what I do is like I start with a corner, I exactly plan how many vegetables I want, how many plants I want for beans as an example, and then like radish, carrots and the மாதிரி I plan it and then like plant it. I also follow the companion planting in combination with square foot gardening. Sometimes I do go with intense gardening method as well. Intense gardening try to maximize your space. Enna பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் intense gardening is always reliant on my companion plantings. So I try to maximize my place accordingly. As you notice, there is like peas that is surrounding, and then adukku mela I have kohlrabi, radish and all of that. In between I will have favas to build the soil. So adha vandu ennoda type of method I have been following and finding it quite useful. Coming to square foot, enna adu or good example சொல்றதா இருந்தா beans எடுத்துக்கோங்க. The beans is something you typically try to plant in 18 inches to 2 feet apart, right? Every single plant. But square foot gardening suggests you to go up to 9 beans per square foot. That is like, I have tried that and it is definitely producing good. The key factors would be how do you prepare your soil for your square foot garden, and how do you kind of like amend the soil? How do you also take care of your weeds and weed suppression techniques எல்லாத்தையும் பொறுத்து you will have a good success when you follow a square foot gardening. So try that out. So here's a good template I just got. Like for some of you who would want to like start, how can I start with dividing my bed into like multiple squares? This is a good template that you get out of a square foot. So the color coding indicates different. When you buy this, you also have like what kind of vegetables you can follow. So it's nothing but a basic square foot. You have holes here, and in the holes if it's carrot, it will fill 16. If it is peas, it will fill 16. If it is beans, you are going to fill 9 gram madri. If it's tomato, you go with 1. Tomatoes or pumpkins or zucchinis, you go with 1 per square foot. That's in a nutshell square foot gardening. And இப்போ என்னோட garden பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் that's what I have done. If you notice this whole bed is like a kohlrabi. And kohlrabi I sincerely followed a square foot approach. So you will definitely have like about 16 in a square. அதனால தான் to some extent my garden will also look like bare given the space I have got or given the number of vegetables I have grown, because I'm also trying to like do it as intense as possible. The advantage I have with this kind of approach is my weeds are suppressed. Initially I might have to do a lot of weeding because I'm just starting the bed, but once I get the first hold, the plants are going to take up the space and going to suppress the weeds. So that is one thing I personally like about a square foot, and to some extent also in intense gardening. Intense gardening la na enna pannuvena, like I said, like I'm going to bring in beans here also. Like kohlrabi mudiyaruthe, wherever I have space, depending on the growth, I'm going to start some beans. I might not do tomatoes in this whole cycle, but there is also something I can interplant between cilantro and tomatoes as an example, is something I have got good success last time. Summer la when cilantro goes to bold, my tomatoes kind of give the shade, and at the same time it's both are in equals, both have their equal space and equal nutrients, so they grow really well. So andha madri I'll be following a mix of a square foot, intense and a companion gardening. That's what you have seen coming in. Enoda kohlrabi bed la I also had fava. So on the space la I did not intense plant kohlrabi. I spaced it out, so I have space for my fava. So on the madri I try to do a mix and match when it comes to the planning of gardening. The advantage for me here is I can go one corner to corner, so I don't have to go fill the whole bed. That means I don't have to start preparing every single corner of the bed. I can prepare the bed, amend the soil as and when I need to plant, and every day I get a break, I come and plant something. So andha madri irukathe this kind of gives me an opportunity to work in the garden continuously, and it's not like a overwhelming experience for me. So try your square foot gardening out. I hope you really enjoyed the April episode. Next May I'll come up with some other topics. If you are interested in any specific topic, you let me know. But otherwise, I'll start giving you an idea about how am I doing my heat vegetables, and maybe touch a little bit more about companion planting in the next episode. And also talk to you about some of the fruit trees. Our fruit season will start coming in from June. So I'll give you an idea of what fruit trees kind of produce when, and how can you have a continuous supply in your garden for fruits, children. And personally, some of you had asked like, hey, give me more about flowers. I would try to pick up few more of my friends who's really good in it. Personally, me, as you know, I'm more of an edible grower, and I'm starting to get into ornamental or flowerings. So I'll show you what I have. In summer I try to establish, spring I'm trying to establish, and fall is something I'm working on at the moment. Fall and winter flowering are something I'm working on at the moment. 2 years from now, garden goal will also be like a flower for all seasons. Like how my first priority is produce for all seasons, I would also like work towards learn a lot and try to implement like flower for all seasons. That will be like 2 years from now goal for me. And I'm also into more of perennials, so I want to like really learn about different perennials that can continuously keep coming in. But I'll definitely try and capture some of the flowers that keep coming in and talk about it as one of the segment in the upcoming episodes. So I know many of you are interested in like, hey, you're only talking about vegetables, how about flowers? I'll definitely address that. And I'll continue to do the fruits and vegetables and herbs. And let me know your feedback, let me know your comments, and based on that I'll again pick a topic and start capturing it. See you all in the May episode. And until then, have a happy gardening and stay safe.